It's over. Lacey Chabert's husband bullies others. David Nehdar's heartbreaking scandal uncovered. Rose dream. Lacey Carmine walked through the black iron gate leading to a garden full of blooming roses. The white mansion was hidden behind neatly trimmed trees. The afternoon wind blew gently, carrying the sweet scent of lavender and jasmine. From the outside, her life looked like a vivid fairy tale. She was one of the most beloved actresses in the country, not because of her flashy roles, but because of her sincerity, kindness, and humility that were rare in the entertainment industry. And people said she was married to the man of her dreams, David Nehdar, CEO of a leading technology investment firm. Rarely seen in public, but every time he walked the red carpet with his wife, he always made headlines. Elegant, calm, always smiling and standing one step behind Lacey, the man that every woman believes, if not a prince, then a princess protector. They got married after a year of dating. The wedding was held privately in Tuscany, Italy. Only 30 close guests were invited. Lacey once said in an interview, "David made me feel safe. With him, I could put down my actor mask and just be a normal girl who wanted to be loved." At that time, no one suspected anything. She was radiant, he stood behind her like a solid wall. But every dream has its time to be broken. The cracks, the 18th month after the wedding. Lacey sat alone in the cozy kitchen. Outside was a brilliant sunset, but inside she felt empty. David had been away on a business trip for 3 weeks. Not a single text message asking how she was doing. Not a single goodnight call like before. She called, he didn't pick up. She texted, he just replied briefly, "I'm busy." At first, she consoled herself, maybe work is stressful. But then, things started to pile up. Lacey remembered the time she accidentally broke his favorite glass. David didn't scream, didn't get angry, but his silence was more terrifying than any scolding. He looked at her, his eyes cold as steel. "This is why I don't like you touching anything important." Something important. The sentence stabbed her heart like a knife. Another time, she refused to attend a business event David organized because it conflicted with filming schedules. That night, he came home late, his eyes red, and said through gritted teeth, "Do you think I'm the only one with a career? Do you know how many people I've lied to keep up your image?" Little by little, she began to feel guilty for living. The mask falls. That evening, it was raining lightly. David was in the shower. She sat on the bed, watching the light on his phone, an unfamiliar name, A message appeared. "Have you told her anything? I can't keep waiting." Lacey was stunned. Her hands were shaking, but she didn't open another message. Not because she was afraid of the truth. Because deep down, she already knew. The next day, she called Anna, her close friend who was an investigative reporter. No explanation, just a short sentence, "I need a private investigator." No one knows. 3 weeks later, the results came back, leaving her breathless. David had been with at least 3 women, over the course of 8 months. Each had similar characteristics: young, hungry for success, and at one point or another, Lacey looked up to. But the bad stuff didn't stop there. David didn't just cheat, he used his wife's reputation to approach her, promising help, making tempting offers. When they started to doubt or wanted out of the relationship, he would threaten, "You want to ruin your career? I just need an article." Lacey gagged when she read that line. Painful, humiliated, and too angry to cry. Betrayed silence. Lacey sat across from the first woman, Celia Vaughn, a young fashion designer who had collaborated on a charity photo shoot 2 years earlier. They met in a quiet coffee shop in West Los Angeles. No cameras, no recordings, just 2 women, one with a broken heart, the other with a secret she wanted to keep for the rest of her life. Celia walked in, her eyes averted, a little scared. "Thank you for coming," Lacey said, her voice soft but steady. Celia didn't respond right away. After a moment, she spoke, her voice trembling. "I'm sorry, I don't know how to tell you this. I really didn't know he was like this." Celia said, David met her at a fashion event that Lacey sponsored. At first, he just said, "You have talent, and Lacey will definitely help if I say a few kind words." Then he invited her to dinner. Then to his studio. Then gradually, control. When I wanted to back out, he said if I made a fuss, you would think I was trying to break up your family. He said you would believe him because you were blindly in love with him. I believed it. Lacey was silent. The last sentence took her breath away. 2 days later, she met Natalie Moon, a famous magazine cover model. Then Emily Tran, a former assistant. Their stories differed in timing and details, but they all followed the same pattern: approach, flirt, promise, emotional manipulation, threats, then disappear. Lacey looked at each of them, angry, but not at them. At herself. She had been silent for too long. She had trusted a man so much that she had lost her intuition. Her silence was the weapon that David used to hurt other women. Justice and the price. The day Lacey announced the press conference, the media exploded. Everyone was surprised. She used to be the model of the ideal wife. And David, the hidden man in the stories behind the success, was now being dragged into the light as a sophisticated predator. In the press conference room, dozens of cameras were pointed at her. But Lacey did not cry. She stood straight, her face calm, her eyes clear. "I did not speak out for revenge. I spoke out because I did not want anyone else to feel controlled, threatened, and forced to stay silent." Like I did. When she stopped, the room was dead silent. A day later, 3 of the victims filed a lawsuit against David with specific evidence. Documents from private investigators, text messages, hidden recordings, and screenshots made the case undeniable. David's lawyer responded quickly. He dismissed the whole thing, calling it a smear campaign for the benefit of the media. But public opinion was not on his side. The media dug into David's business past and discovered a string of shady behavior. The company's stock dropped 48% in a week. Major investors began to flee. Lacey, heartbroken, continued to support other victims to come forward. She refused to go on camera, refused to be interviewed exclusively. Instead, she founded an organization to protect women in the entertainment industry from manipulation and emotional abuse. The price was not small. She was attacked on social media by David's defenders. Some loyal fans turned against her, claiming she stained the family. But for Lacey, it was a necessary price to reclaim herself. Lacey, again, a year after Lacey came out. She sat in her small studio in Venice Beach, wearing a white shirt, her hair tied back, no makeup. On her desk was the manuscript for the documentary she had co-produced, Behind the Mask, a story about women who had been bullied and stood up for themselves. At the premiere, a reporter asked, "Do you think you will ever love again?" Lacey smiled slightly. "I don't need a man to complete me. If someone comes, they have to love my scars and my wounds, not just my glory." She walked out of the theater, the afternoon sun shining on her hair. No more flashbulbs, no more false flattery. Only Lacey remains, a woman who has shed the mask of perfect family and begins again, once more.